Speaker, le certificat de cause de décès refers to maladie non transmissible, code 959.8. Can the Minister tell us what is this code 959.8?
Madam, this is a matter specifically being investigated by the police, and I do not wish to venture at this stage to give any pronunciation as to this.
Code 959.8, it's a public matter. The Minister is not aware, has not even bothered to check. It is, Madam Speaker, death from multiple injury. So my question is this, relates to the protocol in Mauritius, receiving a body, and nobody, it seems, has verified that this was not a natural death. This was obviously some unnatural death from multiple injury. Nobody, it's not his ministry, Ministry of Health, at the airport, nobody bothered to find out what was this 959.8. It was a Chidimun who had died. Nobody cared.
Don't make statements. Honorable Leader of Opposition. Ask your question. Don't make statements.
Madam Speaker, I will show clearly. Don't rush. Madam Speaker, why, therefore, I will ask the Minister whether he will use his en guillemets good officers to have the protocol changed at the airport for the future, so that if the body arrives under suspicious circumstances, it is not just left alone and the authorities are not acting properly.
If the Honourable Leader of Opposition wants to cause any prejudice to the police inquiry, I will leave that up to him. The matter is being looked into. The matter is indeed turning around how this certificate was issued in Madagascar. This is precisely one of the elements. I don't want to cause any prejudice to the inquiry. The question of the protocol of the Ministry of Health is another matter, Madam Speaker. This is, if you want a specific question, I can come to it.
The specific matter, that is where the issue started. The body was received and was allowed to be buried by the Civil Status Office without checking, because nobody verified what the certificate of death said. Nobody even bothered. Now, Madam Speaker, I'll ask the Minister, since he has told us he has received the person. He did indeed receive the person upon intervention by the Deputy Prime Minister. But can he tell us where he received the person? Whether he received the person in his office, or whether he received the person in a condescending manner in the corridor. And, Madam Speaker, I will table a copy of the letter from the father of the deceased person, telling how shamefully he was received by the Attorney General.
There's nothing to be ashamed of, Madam Speaker, since the Honourable Leader of Opposition wants to have the details. 8th of December was a day when the Assembly was sitting. My presence was required here. I went to my office to see Mr. Eléonore. I know Elvis Eléonore is listening to me. I met him in my office, but told him I have to walk back. If you care to walk back with me, we'll talk on the way. And this is what we did. We both walked back, and to the point where I had to come back to the Assembly inside the chamber. There is nothing to be ashamed of, and this is where he exchanged with me about, this is up to you. I will leave it to the appreciation of the people of Mauritius.
Order on this side, please.
Just not tell us firstly that he had refused to receive the person. It was only upon intervention of the Deputy Prime Minister, I handed to him, that he accepted to refuse the father of this poor deceased boy. Madam Speaker, on the second occasion, on the 22nd of March, again, he gave this time an official appointment to the father of the deceased. And again, would you believe, Madam Speaker, he was in a rush. And again, he received the father of the deceased person in his corridor, never in the office, and I will table a copy of the letter from the father who is here listening to us tonight. Isn't that, Madam, a shameful way of treating the parents of the child who died only because he's a Chidimun and it doesn't matter?
I will leave it to the appreciation of the people of this country to decide whether this is shameful or whether I have done my duty to hear him and to advise him what to do. And the people will decide whether this government is committed to helping the Chidimun the Leader of Opposition is referring to. My reply contains all the details of what we have done, and this gives an idea of what we will do to support Elvis Eléonore in his efforts to uncover the truth.
Speaker, the death was in November. We are now in May, and the public will judge for themselves, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, all along, the Honourable Attorney General has refused to offer any assistance at all, not even to the point of designating one of his officers in his ministry to help this poor family who are living in tremendous state of stress and hell. Madam Speaker, let's say now that we know he has been callous, but for future cases, will he not have a liaison officer in his ministry from now on, so that he's a busy man, doesn't need to meet them, but he can get his officers at least to help people in this dire situation?
I don't know from where the Leader of Opposition gets these ideas that the State Law Office is the advisor on cases which are under police inquiry. The State Law Office is the advisor of government. The role of the State Law is prescribed in Section 69 of the Constitution. I think the Leader of Opposition has to go back to the Constitution and read.
Madam Speaker, so the police have been inquiring ever since 1st of December, when there was the first declaration by Mr. Elvis Eléonore, the father. They have been inquiring so much that nothing has been done up to now. Is the Honourable Attorney General aware that it was yesterday, I don't know if they heard of the PNQ, yesterday, that Inspector Rukaya, I don't know if he's here, Inspector Rukaya phoned the undertaker yesterday to ask for a report on this case? Is he aware of the lax manner in which the police are treating the death of the young Maurician in Madagascar?
This inquiry, Madam Speaker, is proceeding insofar as I am concerned to my satisfaction. We are being kept informed of whatever is happening in Madagascar, and we are also being kept informed as to whatever is happening here. This is a case of violent death, and I was the first one to say so way back in February in the course of a press conference. If my memory serves me right, it was on the 3rd of February. I termed it a violent death. They were not even aware of what was happening then. This is not an accounting exercise where you just balance the books. It is an inquiry which will proceed and which takes time. I know what happened yesterday, and I know other things. I know other reports which happened yesterday. I do not, en tant que responsable, I do not want to cause any prejudice to the police inquiry, unlike them.
Shame on the Minister, Madam Speaker. Shame on the Minister. It's exactly why we are saying that the tissue bill should not be passed as it is. Madam Speaker, as the Minister is happy sitting in his office receiving people in the corridor, Madam Speaker, the trail is getting cold. It's been, 7-8 months since the death? What is the Minister going to do tomorrow, tonight, now, so that the inquiry can be at least taken seriously by the Mauritian police?
Madam Speaker, I am satisfied that the inquiry is being taken seriously.
Madam Speaker, what is the reason why, since the death was in November, he hasn't still now, as a central authority, the competent authority, not asked for mutual legal assistance from his counterparts in Madagascar? The rest that has been done, written here and there, it's not legal, it's not the law. The law provides for the Attorney General to contact the judicial authorities there. Why haven't you done so now, up till now?
I haven't done so because it is premature. I need evidence to back my request, and I will do so at the appropriate stage on evidence received and on request, either state to state, Mauritius to Madagascar, or from state of Madagascar to Mauritius. Maybe you should go back and read your law.
Obviously, the Minister is too busy to even have read the certificate de décès. Who would have found out that it was, in fact, a violent death, not as he had presumed. Madam Speaker, in the previous cases, our inspectors, police inspectors, for what it's worth, have traveled to Seychelles for inquiry. In this case, there are 3 Mauritian witnesses to this violent death. Raison de plus why our police officers should have been dispatched rapidly, Madam Speaker, to Madagascar to at least interview these 3 Mauritian witnesses in this case.
I can assure the House that the witnesses have already been interviewed. If you care to listen, you will hear.
I missed the answer, Madam Speaker. Is he aware that the...
This is no laughing matter. I'm sorry. Please.
Now, Madam Speaker, let me just, it's not a funny...
Honorable Thierry Henry, please. This is no laughing matter and it's a serious matter which is being debated. Please, no provocations on your side also. Yes, Honorable Leader of Opposition, please proceed.
Madam Speaker, I want to ask, when will Mauritian police officers be dispatched to Ansirabe and elsewhere to talk to the Mauritian witnesses that are there? When will that happen?
So the Leader of Opposition wants me to give the date so that those witnesses can disappear over there, knowing that the police officers are coming. If they care to take some time to think before asking questions, they will have the answers themselves.
Speaker, the Minister is just running away from the questions and from his responsibility, and it is the same arrogance that he is showing today in the House that he is showing to the parents of the deceased, and the public will be judge of that, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, it is the same arrogance, same callous attitude.
Please. Order.
Poor defenseless people who are watching him today, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in the matter of extra, Madam Speaker, I want to ask one thing. There is evidence, as from the report of Dr. Satish Bulel, that this person, this young boy, Madam Speaker, died, as I say, I'm quoting, there is evidence of serious aggravated physical assault. I will lay a copy here of this on the table of the House. Serious aggravated physical assault. But there's worse than that. Because again, Dr. Bulel again says here that there is evidence que le crime a été maquillé, that the injuries were sutured, that therefore the body was prepared and sent to Mauritius. This is again a reason, Madam Speaker, because they were just beaten up, but also the body was prepared and sent to Mauritius maquillé. This is why I'm asking the Honourable Attorney General, when will these police officers go, so that at least we can also talk to the people in a commission rogatoire, talk to the people, the hospitals, etc., the doctors who may have done this maquillage there.
Yes, it is indeed on the basis of the autopsy report of Dr. Satish Bulel that the authorities in Mauritius drew the conclusion that it was a case of violent death. The autopsy report was very revealing, of course. However, as I stated, the inquiry is progressing. The relevant witnesses are being interviewed. I say it again. I don't want to give the names of the witnesses. I also don't want to give the statements that they have given. Suffice it to say that I have it, but I don't want to reveal it yet in public. It will inevitably prejudice the police inquiry.
The reason, can the Minister give the reason why it was only yesterday that Inspector Rukaya phoned Eli and Son to get a report? The first thing he should have done, to get the report of how their body arrived in Mauritius. Why only yesterday?
No, there were events which have happened in February, March, April. Many things have happened. Of course, some events also happened yesterday. There is nothing sinister there, Madam Speaker, except sinister. There is nothing sinister except for those who want to. Exactly, who have their own agenda of their own.
No provocation.
Madam Speaker, that the police have been sleeping on this matter, and that has been no pressure at all from his office, from anybody else in government, regarding this Chijimun who has died. Madam Speaker, on the last point of extraterritorial jurisdiction. Of course, it was a big wig. Everybody would have been on the case. No, nobody cares. That's why I had to take it up. And I'm happy I took it up. Madam Speaker, this case of the question of extra-territorial jurisdiction. It exists, as Honourable Acting Attorney General said, in a number of cases. But this is a case of murder of a Mauritian national, a young boy. There are Mauritian witnesses. Possibly, the guys may know more than they are saying. Possibly they are involved in a crime. So this is why I'm saying.
Is that your last question?
Yes, it will be.
Then Honourable Balumudi had a question.
Yes.
I'll ask him and then you can ask your last question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, it's not the first time that somebody, when a death occurred outside, when postmortem is carried out in Mauritius, we have contrary result to the certificate issued by the foreign country. We had an example in Seychelles recently, and now in Madagascar. Can I ask the Honourable Attorney General whether he intends to amend Section 48 of the Civil Status Act so that to make it compulsory when there is a death outside Mauritius, that a post-mortem be carried out in Mauritius before a certificate of burial is issued? Because many people don't have the means. This one was done privately. They had to pay, they have the means. So can I ask the Honourable whether he's prepared to amend that Section 48 so that when a death occurred outside Mauritius, before a certificate of burial is issued, there should be a post-mortem carried out in Mauritius by the police medical officer?
I will look into the matter, Madam Speaker. It is a valuable suggestion.
Yes. Just before your last question, Honourable Leader of Opposition, you've just laid on the table of the Assembly, I see a letter from Mr. Elvis Eléonore. Could you kindly request him to sign that letter? Then we'll if you have a signed copy, please send over the signed copy. We'll give you back this one. Then we can accept the document. Okay? Yes.
I'm tabling a signed copy if you return the other one. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the letter confirms everything I'm saying here. It was given to me this morning because I was doubting whether someone would doubt my word. This is why I have it all in writing. Okay? I agree. All right, thank you. Okay. Now, Madam Speaker, this question of extrajudicial jurisdiction would have allowed a judicial inquiry in Mauritius. Now, it appears that the DPP, the magistrates, are not able to have a judicial inquiry because they don't have jurisdiction. This is why I'm asking again, Honourable Attorney General, budget is coming up, lots of laws will be changed. This is the occasion to do justice to any Mauritian in the future who meets with a violent death anywhere in the world.
I don't know who has advised the Honourable Leader of Opposition that a judicial inquiry is not possible at this stage. I have said it is premature. We need a nexus with Mauritius for the court to assume jurisdiction. The inquiry will reveal whether there is sufficient nexus or not. It is a duty of this government, and we are living up to our duty, to assure that justice, that every citizen in this country gets justice. We have not been beating a drum and saying to everyone what we are doing in this case, because it is a sensitive case where, I say it again, the accused parties have yet to be traced and arrested. This is why we need to keep confidentiality. Well, now the Leader of Opposition has chosen to bring everything to public. We'll take responsibility. I assure the House once again that government is committed at its highest level, including the Prime Minister himself, who is personally being briefed on the case regularly, both as to what is happening here and what is happening in Madagascar. I do not want to venture to say anything more now because I do not want to cause prejudice to the inquiry. But I wish to reassure, most especially the family. It is not a question whether I met them on the way to Assembly, which says the extent of our commitment. Look at what we're doing and look at the results at the end of the inquiry. This is my message, not only to him, but to every citizen of this country. Thank you, Madam Speaker.